Today I'm feeling a little out of sorts, just a tiny bit. Let's pull some tarot about it. I said, let's pull some tarot, and the tarot said, okay. And today just started off a little well, it started off late, like a late morning. And then, of course, right after that, it started off a little more emotional than what I was expecting. Had a not fun conversation with a family member. And we love those. But on a plus side, yesterday was Fat Tuesday, and I am currently in Mobile, Alabama. And so I got to have a lot of fun at Mardi Gras, which is always a good time. And I got to hang out with some of my best friends. And it was just good vibes, good energy, you know. And there's a lot to be grateful for, and I am very grateful for all of those things right now in life. It's just a little wonky. The all-around energy of the message today is that things are about to make a lot of sense. You have spent so much time thinking that you cannot have both, that you cannot have emotional fulfillment and financial fulfillment, that you have convinced yourself that you have to choose one or the other, and that's just simply not true. You can have it all. The issue right now is that you're only looking at things through the lens of survival, and you may not be in survival mode anymore. There's a lot of things that are happening right now in this tarot spread that I have touched on over the past couple of weeks in readings that I've posted on here, and this is like the final step in this process, if that makes sense. And right now, you may not be in survival mode anymore. You may not be in fight or flight, but you're still looking at things through that lens because you haven't built a fully new lens yet. A new lens that's based off of peace and based off of taking things one step at a time and doing things in a way that's going to keep your peace and not give your peace away. You don't have to choose. You don't. You just need a new way of looking at it. You're going to have emotional fulfillment and financial fulfillment. You're going to have all sorts of abundance come to you at the same time. You do not have to choose one or the other. But right now, based out of survival mode, you're choosing more of the financial side of it rather than emotional fulfillment. And so that is where your problem is coming in, because you're constantly chasing financial stability and financial peace. And when you chase things, it runs away from you. And now you might be in this space where, because you're chasing one, the other is following, and it's chasing you, but it's chasing you in a way that's very imbalanced. And that's because you're chasing things in an imbalanced way. Right now, you're being urged to take a minute and breathe and truly imagine what your life could look like if you balanced emotional fulfillment with financial fulfillment. If you lived in a perfect life, in a perfect world, where you could have both the same time, the way that you wanted them, what would that look like? But be honest with yourself, because there's a very real chance that you're basing the vision of both off of one. But you need to be looking at both of them as individual things that can happen at the same time in a beautiful balance. When speaking of imbalance, don't allow the imbalance to scare you. Things are being thrown in your way right now to purposely throw you out of whack and to purposely make you feel off balance and off centered. And it's because you are having to learn a lot of lessons to reap the fruition that you've been manifesting for a long time. We talked about this on Monday. And right now, the specific imbalance and the specific chaos that's being thrown your way is helping you fully break out of childhood trauma. It's helping you fully get away from making decisions with your inner child in mind. A lot of people are like always like, what does your inner child need? What does your inner child need? And that's great. But right now you're finally in a spot where it's not about what your inner child needs. It's about what you in the present needs. Your inner child, you've paid a lot of great attention to them. They are doing well. They're thriving. You have been the adult and the parent that they needed. You have been the sibling that they needed. You have been the best version of yourself that they have needed for a very long time, and you've done a good job at that. They don't need anything else. So what do you need? What do you in the present need? And that's what this imbalance is throwing at you right now. Some of the things that you find in the chaos, you're going to find actually really aligns with what you want for your life, and it's going to become something more like a full-time job, a passion, a dream, a goal, something that you want to work toward and you had no idea that it was something you even wanted to do. You're going to have so many new creative ways, and I say creative very intentionally because even if you are not quote-unquote a creative person, which I beg to differ, I believe everybody's creative in some way or another, but even if you are not a quote-unquote creative person or work in a creative job or a creative industry, this is creative energy coming to you that is allowing you to look at things in a new way and allowing you to say, you know what, maybe I'm more interested in this thing that is aligned inside my career than this over here, and this is what I thought I was working toward this whole time. But you're working toward this out of survival, and you're finally at a place where you don't have to do that. And honestly, you don't get to anymore. You've seen too much. You've grown too much. You've moved too far away from just surviving. and now you're moving toward thriving. But to continue to thrive, you have to make thriving decisions. And as you become more emotionally fulfilled and emotionally aligned and like find the perfect space between these two that you feel like you've been having to make the decision between, and like you start learning to really keep that balance, more fortune is definitely going to be coming in for you. And it's going to start very soon. Like, and I'll get into it in a minute, but I mean, I feel like this could start literally any day for some of you. But the lessons that you're having to learn, the tests that you're being put through, they aren't really tests. It's more of like the universe seeing, what are you going to do? What decision are you going to make? What steps are you going to take? What direction are you going to go in? And the more that you do that, the more abundance is going to come for you. The more just fertility, like there's just a lot of fertile energy in the air. And I mean that very spiritually and symbolically, not literally. But even though these things are going to be coming to you, it doesn't mean that the pain is over. It doesn't mean that the hard work is over. Playing the balancing act is just all of a sudden over. It doesn't mean these things are over. They're still going to be there. You're just going to be looking at them through different lenses. You're going to become really good at balancing them. And ultimately, that's what's going to keep the fruition coming in. That's what's going to keep healing coming in, keep abundance coming in. It's what's going to keep good things flowing to you. The fact that you are able to balance so much. And you've done such a good job at it because you're no longer choosing one or the other. But the more that you balance the pain and the things that you're working through with the good coming in, the more good that's going to come in. And you're doing a really good job at it. This is sort of like a slow healing, like a slow burn almost, where you are really putting things to rest, and that's why they're taking so long. So don't allow it to make you feel discouraged. Just continue doing what you're doing because you're doing an amazing job. For some of you, you may be in a spot where you have been feeling like you've needed help for a while, and some of the endeavors that you've been carrying, like the weight has just been too heavy for you. And so you've been trying to find ways to mitigate the weight and the struggle that has been coming with some of the things that you've been doing, and you've been trying to find help, but you're not really in the space to bring forward help. But in this, one of the reasons why you think that you need help so badly is because you were surrounded by people, or at least around one specific person that was trying to cut your nails. They were trying to hold you back and convince you that you were not the baddie that you are. They were constantly trying to make you play it safe, and I know that it's hard not to empathize with this person because they were just simply doing it out of love and out of care. But what they didn't realize is that they were projecting onto you. They were projecting their own insecurities, their own failures, their own fears onto you. These people, or this person, they were doing this because they love you and they genuinely cherish you, and they see something in you that they wish they could see in themselves, and they're so afraid of the world destroying that and the world just completely obliterating it, and they don't want to see that be lost within you. And sadly, because they did that, they lost you. And so what's happening now is that you are having to fight that mindset. You're having to literally fight the mindset of clipping your own nails and holding yourself back and playing it safe, and you're making it all about them. But it's not all about them, it's all about you. And the moment that you finally get tired of it, you're going to be explosive. You're going to come out of nowhere, ready to slay, ready to cut down, ready to move forward, ready to be the bad bitch that you are. And that's awesome. And when that happens, there's going to be someone there waiting for you that you are going to be able to hand some things off to. You're going to be able to say, oh, wow, okay, now that I just blew up and kind of went everywhere, I see that you're here. Do you want to take some of this responsibility? And they're going to go, sure, okay, sounds good. And it is going to be that simple. But what I urge you to do is, when you are explosive, don't be vindictive. Don't be vengeful. Because this is about you. It's not about them. It's not about them. It's about you. And if you are vengeful, you're only going to hurt yourself. And you may hurt that other person, but it's not going to make you feel any better, and it's going to set you way back. And the final part of this is that you are probably tapping into a lot of really great quick movement energy, but make sure that you're taking your time to calculate and really, really, really hermit and think about things.